welcome back to Tuesday Conley. Hey, Snowman, you are first. I love that I can count on you to show up. Hi there. Doing something a little bit different tonight, as anybody on Discord will know, and I'm throwing the Discord in the chat real quick. We're doing a seminar tonight, a question and answer on the memory palace technique that was mentioned in the basements video, spotlight video for me. Just a little bit of background. I love science first and foremost, but that means I really like the mind and I like thinking through things. And the memory palace, I first saw it in the Sherlock series on BBC, and it was really cool, really well done, but it was the first time I'd ever heard of it. It was right then. And I started doing all kinds of research. I actually have a entire notebook filled with research on memory. So yeah, a little bit of fun. I'm excited to get to talk about it. So yeah, I'm just going to give people a little bit of time here to get to kind of show up. I see there's a delay on YouTube, as always, at least for me. It might not be as big of a delay for you guys, but for me it's looking like about maybe a 30-second delay, so I will be giving that much time for question and answers for sure. This is to be interactive. I want whoever's watching to be asking me questions. I am literally looking at the chat while I talk to you, so I will answer them as I see them. Again, there's probably going to be a delay, but I'm looking, I'm watching. So yeah. Hi and welcome. If you're not, I know Snowman, I know you're already part of the Discord. If you're not part of the Discord, go ahead and sign in. I see I've got 3 people on now. Go ahead and join the Discord. I'm trying to perfect this whole interactive channel thing. So I'm trying to get, I'll have things going on, questions and polls and discussions, and we got the Pokebot still running, which I want to start doing actual things with if I could figure out the Pokemon. I don't know what this thing is. Oh, the memory palace. I'll explain it. But yeah, just don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell if you're not on notifications, just so you can get it. I've noticed, I think I forgot, last night I had a new person on the stream and they didn't subscribe, so I'm kind of hoping they come back. I don't even remember which channel they were from. I want to say they were from the basement. But yeah, so I got to remember, speaking of memory, I need to remember to encourage people to like, subscribe, and join the Discord, because I tend to forget. That is a newbie mistake. So hi, Mr. Snowman. All right, so what the memory palace is. It is a technique for walking through memory. So the way the mind works is memory is nothing but a whole bunch of associations. And what the memory palace does is it takes a very familiar space that you know inside and out, right down to the tiniest details. The more detailed, the more well you know an area, the better it is. And I'll explain that in a minute. But it allows you to assign memories to objects basically objects in memory. And as you walk through, quote unquote, walk through this place, you're able to see these objects where they would be if you were to walk through it in real life and remember what's attached to that object. Let me turn my mail off real quick, because I forgot that goes to sound there. So what that means is, let's take this space, all right? Take this room, and of course you're going to get a good view of the cat pants. Oh, sorry, puppy. Hi, puppy. Hi, baby. This is Ember. So what the memory palace would do is, let's say if I was to choose this space as my palace, all right? This room is my palace. I would always start at the door. And you always start in the same spot, because memories are links to, if you think about a timeline, your memories usually run in a timeline. If you remember one thing, then you actually could start remembering things that happened later and later and later as time went on. Like a vacation trip, you could start and say, oh, I just went on cruise. Oh, I went and got on the boat and that was awesome. But then my next memory would be, oh, we went and we bought lanyards, and then we went and checked out a room, and then we went and got our luggage, and then we went and ate, and that's how your memory works. So you do the same thing with the memory palace. Yes, hi Delgo, hi. This is Ember. She's a mess. Ember, can you say hi? Say hi. I don't know if you can see her. Hold on. There she is. Hi, baby. Who's a good girl? Not you. High five. High five. Come on, you can do it. High five. Come on. High five. There it is. Oh, she's like, Mom, that was stupid. So yeah, sorry, putting her down. Hi, baby girl. Yeah, so that's what it is. So what you're going to do when you're building a memory palace is you're picking a section that you, hey, there's a collective. What it allows you to do is to walk through a link of memories. And so that's why you want to use a space that you know really, really, really well without being there. So a lot of people who have grown up in the same house for 15 or 20 years will use that house. Or you can use a car you've owned or a path you've walked every day. Anything that you know inside and out, even just a bedroom. It doesn't have to be a big space. Obviously, the bigger it is, the more you can store in it. But the idea is to just know it very, very well. Now, you can create a space. And if you create a space, then you really need to practice walking through it and making sure that you are remembering the same objects, the same furniture, everything, every time. Because if that changes in your memory, then it's going to mess with where you put things as you're memorizing. So it's very, very important. It's really, really better to use a real space that you can walk through. The longest I ever lived in a house was 10 years. So, but I know that house inside and out, so I use that house when I'm using the memory palace. I'm going to take a step back before I show you how to do the memory palace first, because there's a couple of rules that I have gathered in my research. The first thing is that your senses are important. So you're not just remembering. When you are assigning a memory to something, it's very important that you have sight, taste, sound, smell, feel. Those 5 senses, right? Your typical 5 senses. The more that you use, the stronger the memory is. Even if it's something as, I think I said on the comment to the video, if you want to remember Ted's favorite game, Ted from the basement, his favorite game is Breath of the Wild, then just trying to say, I'm going to put the words Breath of the Wild on a door, it doesn't work as well. What I would do is I would paint Link, and see, personally, my favorite part of Breath of the Wild is the color blue from the tunic, and the whole look of Link. So what I said in my comment was I would put a life-size cutout of Link on my bedroom door, because that would be the first thing I would see if I was to walk my personal memory palace. But with that, I would say I would glue it to the door, and I would try and visualize the smell of the glue. I might color it and smell the marker. I could feel the cardboard. All those things. It sounds stupid, but the more of those that you use, the more you're going to remember. When I am in my mind looking at my bedroom door, there's a cardboard cutout of Link on my door. That is Ted's favorite game. That's how that works. So the more extravagant, the bigger, also the weirder the memory, the thing that you create in your memory. What? Hey. Yeah, she heard something. The stronger in your memory, or the weirder that the thing is, the stronger it is as well. So be observed. And this is only for you. Nobody needs to know what you do to assign a memory. It's just for you. So that's another trick. So I have actually rules. Let me see if you can see this. I have rules here for memory. Hi, Zelda. No, you haven't missed much. We've only been running for about 10 minutes, and I was just talking about memory in general. Also, I forgot to remind you yesterday. I noticed, subscribe, notification, and I have a Discord. Those will keep you up to date if you want to do that. I'm trying to remember, and again, we're talking about memory. That's the one thing I forget is to tell people to do those things. So hi Zelda, and do those things if you can. So anyway, also this is live and my dog. Yes, Zach. Yes, that's exactly what it is. It's the more you use, the stronger the association. Just think about like what your strongest memories are. Usually it is some sort of a vacation where you went, you did, you experienced, you touched, you swam, that kind of things. Oh, okay, Zelda. I looked in the list, but it's been a day. I hit my head yesterday and gave myself a headache, so it's been it's been an interesting day. But anyway, so that's very, very, very important. So the rules that I had, and I didn't write them out for the screen, but I have them here, is these are the things to remember, so to speak. So when you're talking about your memory, number one is you will not remember anything you don't observe. So you want to be very observing of your area around you. And you don't observe anything that you don't think is important. That's just natural habit. If it's not important to you, you're not going to remember it. You're not going to observe it. You're not going to remember it. So that actually comes up into play when you're trying to remember something like somebody's name. If it's like the name of a cashier or the name of a waitress or waiter, all right, Mr. Snowman, see you later. Then it's that person does not tend to be very important to you, and you may not observe their name, and you most likely will not remember their name. So the point is to be very, very deliberate. Memory likes to be trusted. If you do not trust a memory, you're going to forget it. It'll leave. It'll go away. Things can be remembered or forgotten simply as a matter of will, based on that. Repetition ingrains. So I'm going to be teaching this memory palace here to you. And you cannot expect to take the seminar, go do it, and be done. Sure, yeah, it's going to upload. See you later, Zelda. You have to practice it. And actually, I have not been practicing it lately, so it's going to be fun to go back and try and encourage, myself to go back and start using this again. But you need to practice it often in order to get good at it. It is a technique, and just like technique like shooting a basketball, it doesn't just come naturally. You have to learn it and practice it. When it comes to remembering names, you've got to hear the name in the first place or read the name. A lot of people, again, talking about the waiters or cashiers, they wear name badges, but how often do you look at it? You need to spell them, repeat them. You need to show interest. That's being deliberate in observing, like I had said earlier. And if you're going to use a made-up memory palace, create it well in advance and know it before you start. And I had already mentioned that. All right, so what is this memory palace? How does this technique work? Are you guys good so far? Any questions from anybody still around? I'm going to give it, I think it's about 30-second delay, so I'm going to give it a little bit to see if there's any questions. Now, this is different again for me, so I'm not sure how this is working, but we're going to try it. Sorry. All right, I'm going to keep talking, ask questions. If I see a question pop up, I will stop and address it, because I don't know what the delay looks like to you guys. To me, it's looking again to be about 30 seconds, so I'm just going to keep talking so there's not 30-second pauses. So how the memory palace works is you take this space that you know, and let's just say, I'm going to use this room right here. This room is good. I'm glad it makes sense. This room is my palace. It's not really, but for tonight, this is my palace. Mainly because I could see it and point things out to you. And actually, I know it's way, way back there. I'm hoping you guys could see the stuff. But you notice I have my front door. There's a baby gate for the animals. There's the door to the room. There is a toy box with toys. And actually, you can get so granular about it if you need space that you can actually assign things on each toy that's there if I remember the toys that are there. There's a book standing right there. I don't know if you can see it. There's a desk. Under the desk is 2 litter pans. There's a teacup, a picture, a medallion hanging on the whiteboard. So you can see I've got things right here. And since if I was to walk in, that would be the left. That would be my left. So for this exercise, I'm going to say every time I walk into this room in my mind, I'm going to walk to the left. And I'm going to follow this wall. Okay? So you pick a direction. Once you've taken a room, you pick a direction, or a house or whatever. You pick a direction. You always go in the same direction because, again, links build association, and you need those links. So you start with the bottom of the chain and you work forward. And that's what we're doing here. From there, it's a little bit easier if you use a walking path, like if you were to walk to work every day or walk to school, or a driving path, like if you ride a bus to school or something like that, drive a car to work, because you're already moving in a direction and you don't have to think about what comes first, like which direction do I go. But the fun thing about this is that if you're using a house method like I'm using this room, then it actually works a lot like learning to walk in a new house. So let's say I just moved in here and I didn't know all this stuff was here, and I could walk through and see it and see it and see it. But over time, I don't have to start at the door to get to the cat tree right here, because I know where the cat tree is, and it's a strong enough memory. It's a bigger memory, so to speak, that I could just walk straight to it. I don't have to start at the door and walk around. That comes with practice and time, and that's why you need practice for this. But this does become a thing. So as you're walking through, you assign anything you want to remember to any object in the room. Now, again, it's a technique. Nobody does the same thing. When it comes to technique, really people don't do the same thing from person to person. That is artistic ability, pretty much. You can choose to skip items, and let's just say for the sake of learning, I'm going to start with the biggest items in the room that are obvious. So the desk, the whiteboard, the cat tree, the window, maybe a cat pan. And I'm going to move from left to right and assign memories in order as I come across them. And my example was, let's take, this is my example, right? I'm reading through the Chronicles of Narnia again. And this is all of them in one book. So let's say I wanted to memorize the order of the Chronicles of Narnia, right? So here I have them. I have the books in order right here. For me, my memory palace actually has a bookcase in the first room. So I would make these each individually a book on the bookcase and remember it that way. But for this room and for this exercise, I'm going to do this so that I'm going to assign it to items as we walk. So the first one is the Magician's Nephew. Now you can either pull from, if you know the story, you can pull from something from the story. I have not read these books in probably 15, 20 years, so I don't remember a lot of the details. So that's not going to work for me. I'm going to use word association instead. So the Magician's Nephew, so magician. It seems like I remember there being a ring in this book, but I also read this book when I was reading Lord of the Rings at the same time, so I might be crossing those. But I would pick something that reminds me of a magician's nephew. Now, I already have a strong lean towards a ring for whatever reason. And I can see in my head an old man just leaning over, putting a ring on a little boy. I can feel the ring. In my head, that's also done in a garden. And I think that's because a lot of Narnia is garden type work. So I could smell the garden, I could see it, I could feel the sun, things like that. So I'm building this memory, this image in my head of this man leaning over. Yeah, I figured as much. Putting this ring on this little boy's finger. Okay, that would be the magician's nephew. He's got a tall magician's hat, everything. I'm going to put that image in the actually on the front door. So what I would, or I'm sorry, the baby gate, actually. The baby gate would be my first stop because it's a gate and I'm thinking of a garden. I would see the garden gate there. So the first one's going to be the Magician's Nephew. Again, as weird and abstract as it is, it's what works in your memory. What do you think of when you hear the Magician's Nephew? So I'm using that baby gate there. That is going to be it's going to look like a garden gate in my head. All right. The next one is the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Simple. I have a door. My next thing is the door in front of the baby gate. So the obvious thing would be a wooden door that looks like a wardrobe door. It could also be, I could think, because I keep that door open for me in this room, if I were to open, or in this case, close that door this way, there could be a wardrobe behind it, even though it can't fit. That would be the abstract part of it. A wardrobe can't fit there, but I could put it there in my mind. So we have the Magician's Nephew's the gate, the wardrobe door on the door, the horse and his boy. So I have this toy box here. Again, it works out perfectly. I could have a horse toy in the toy box. So we have the gate, we have Magician's Nephew, we have the wardrobe door, so the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. We have the toy box, and I'm trying to do this without looking. And the repetition, remember, repetition is one of the rules. So the toy box will have a horse toy in it. And I could feel, again, I could feel the toy. I could smell the toy. It smells like my dog because that's my dog's toy box. I could, play with it in my mind, that kind of thing. Building the association. So I have, next is Prince Caspian. Now, technically for me, the next thing in my line of sight is this book leaning up here, this really big book leaning on the floor here behind the toy box. But, for Prince Caspian, I'm going to use the desk here. And let's see here. I remember Prince Caspian. I remember the movie from Prince Caspian. And if there's a movie, you can use that too. So let's see here. For the Prince Caspian, I'm probably just going to put a crown. Like make this in my head. This is a real regal desk. And it's got a crown, a prince on it, right? Now, you notice I'm only picking out keywords. That's because I already know. I know the titles because I've read the books. The titles are familiar. The title itself is not important to me because I already know the title. All I need to remember for myself is the order. If these books are brand new to you and you don't know these titles, you couldn't see a crown and say Prince Caspian, then you need to be more specific in your memory to make this work. Again, it's all personal to you. And I'm going super, super high level here, meaning this is like easiest, best case, least explanation for this. So we have, and I'm going to do it without looking. So we have the gate is the Magician's Nephew. We have the door, that's the wardrobe. So Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe. We have a toy horse in the toy box. So a boy and his horse. The horse and his boy. See, I sort of know the title for that one. The desk is regal with a crown on it, so that's Prince Caspian. So the next book is The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, which we know to be about a boat. It's a boat trip. There's obviously other things. You've seen the movie. If you have, there's a lot more to it. I also tend to love dragons, and I also have a cat that is addicted to water, and of course with the litter pans under here, that's where my mind goes. My mind goes to water. So I'm going to assign this one to the brown litter pan right here behind me. So brown litter pan it looks like a boat. It's a boat litter pan, and thinking of Sly, who's addicted to water. It's got water in it. And that actually, honestly, that alone would make me think of this. So that's what I'm doing. And then, so we have the gate, we have the wardrobe door, the toy horse, the desk with the crown on it. We have the boat. We have the boat litter pan. And then the next one is the silver chair. Now the silver chair is, we're coming over here now. Let's see if you can see. So I have, I'm going to skip these for now, because technically these two things right here are not mine. They're my brother's. But I'm going to go to this cat tree here. So I have this cat tree, and I'm thinking my cat likes to sit on it. So it is a chair for my cat. And I'm going to make it in my head. It's made out of silver. It's really bright. It's in the window, so it's going to reflect that light really strongly. So this is going to be the silver chair. So again, let's start over. Let's look again. So we have the garden, the wardrobe, the horse, the crown, the boat, the chair, and then we have the last battle. Now, if you look over here, let's see if I can do this without making anybody sick. So underneath are all the cat toys for Sly. These are all Sly's toys here. He likes to play with them. What do you think cats do with toys? They bat them around. They shoot them across the room. It looks like a little battle zone when he's done. He also tends to throw them in the lure pan. So as I'm looking at this, I'm going to assign this little round thing right here as a part of the battlefield. And I'm thinking of his toys as a battlefield. So that's the last battle. So now I've been talking this whole time, and I am committing to memory, but it's a little difficult when I'm talking about it, because this is something you want to sit down and really, really take your time doing. But I'm going to see how well that worked, because I'm going to go through it one more time. And then we're going to go talk about something else, and I'm going to come back to this and see if I can remember it. Now that is a very basic usage of the memory palace. The way it was used in Sherlock, though, and what you probably would want to use it more for, I wouldn't use the memory palace for something as simple as memorizing the order of books. That sounds like something for a test, and there's a different technique for that that's a little bit easier. But I wanted to show this as an example, and this was something I had in list form that I could walk you through and show you how it works. What you really want to assign to your memory palace are life events, pieces of information you come across that you never want to forget, favorite memories, not even favorite memories, things that have happened. Basically, it's like cramming. Yeah, cramming. Cramming is the, no, yeah, that's one way of doing it. It doesn't always work out very well. Give me a second. The memory palace is really more long-term, is the word I should use. The order of the books, not quite so long-term. The order of days of creation, that might be considered long-term. That's a good thing to maybe visualize in a poster on the wall. You don't want to devote an entire room to one memory, like I just did. I just used half of my space here for one single memory. Pending a book. Yeah. Hi. Yes, Keen. We just kind of walked through how to use a memory palace, and I'm about to walk through it again to show you what we have assigned, but I'm explaining the proper use of the memory palace now. You don't use an entire room for one memory. You want to utilize your space for life, pretty much, because this is something like a house you would live in. And so in Sherlock, on the TV series, the one time you see it used, he is sorting through pieces of information that he has read over the past year, I think it was, something like that. So he actually used file cabinets, and he was going through his files of things he had read and visually looking, or mentally, but visually looking through everything he had read in a year. And that's a bit extreme, but that is the proper use of a memory palace, not this list building thing we just did. So the list we just built, and this is the test to see how well this works. I have put this is the Chronicles of Narnia in one book, all of them. So I wanted to memorize the order of the books for a test today to show how this works. And I have assigned the books to pieces of my room. So if you look, I have the baby gate. That looks like a garden gate. That reminds me of The Magician's Nephew. I have my door here is the wardrobe door. So the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. In the dog's toy box is a toy horse in my mind. That would be the Horse and its Boy. Did I say that right? Yes, I got it right that time. The desk is more ornate than this in my head, much fancier with a crown on top. That would be Prince Caspian. The litter pan here, if I gotta move, hold on, switching sides here. So the brown litter pan looks like a boat, and I have a cat that's addicted to water, so that would be the Voyage of the Dawn Treader. I've got, I'm skipping these because these are not mine, so they would not be part of the, I'm holding those for my brother, so that would be not be part of my personal memory palace, so I'm skipping them. But this is the cat tree, and my cat loves to sit up here, so this is going to be a silver chair. And that is the silver chair. And it's bright and shiny, and cat's always sitting there. And then the last battle, if I hold this down, sorry for anybody who gets seasick, is the cat toys right here on the floor. That would be the last battle, because he's always shooting them across the room like missiles. So that is, we're going to leave it at that. I'm going to talk about something else, and then at the close, I'm going to come back and see if I can remember the order of the books without looking. All right, so here's the book. It is now closed. There's nothing else that lists the book on this cover. See? So I can't go cheating. That's right there. I'm not opening it up. All right, are we good? Any questions so far? I'm going to keep talking, just like, actually I'm going to take a drink here, but I'm going to keep talking. I am reading the chat. Violin concertos. There are other techniques we're going to talk about that might be better for that, but I think, yeah, you could use a memory palace. You really could. You could use a bookcase or a poster or anything you can visualize and assign senses to for that. Okay. So, I'm going to move on. Again, question, answer. Anytime you have a question, just ask it. Just ask it. I will answer it as soon as I see it come on. I'm watching the chat while I talk. All right. So I have in this book lots of different methods. So there's the link method for remembering like things like shopping lists. Also very good for remembering any sort of list that you need to know. So if you're studying for school and you need to know the capitals of every state in the United States, or if you need to know anything that you can list. Biology, if you have a map that you're looking at, like you can look at a map and or a diagram. If you can move clockwise, sorry, yeah. Counterclockwise. Okay, I was watching the camera trying to figure out if it was backwards or not. Counterclockwise or clockwise. You can link them in your head. That might not be the best practice, only because then you have to, if the teacher gets tricky and it has like false blanks or whatever, you could mess yourself up. But basically a list, any sort of list, that's the link method. There's word substitution. Can you reuse spaces? If you do, the problem with that is that you might overwrite something, just like a hard drive. If you don't mind possibly losing the thing that was there first, you can. Or you can find a way to combine them, which I have done before, especially if I'm thinking of a picture frame in my, because I use my old house. If there's a picture frame in my bedroom that had one picture in it, I might, in my mind, you know how sometimes in teenage girls' rooms you see little pictures stuck in the frame, but not in the frame, like they're stuck in the corner of a frame or in a mirror. You can add things like that to spaces without risking screwing up the memory. But you have to treat it like a hard drive. I can talk to Zach like that. Zach's in technology for a living, so he understands. You don't want to overwrite something, but you can add to something, as long as you don't overcomplicate it. Because remember, your five senses are very important to your spaces. If you are crossing your senses, then you might cross the memories. That's just something to think about. So another technique is word substitution. This is good if you're trying to study for vocabulary or foreign languages or having scientific terms. I'll talk about that. There is a way of remembering long numbers. There's a way to remember names. Memorizing things verbatim, like if you have to quote a poem or scripture. And then there's even, and I'm not going to get into this one because this one could be considered cheating. And it's a little bit more involved. I think it would require its own video, but it's called mnemonics, and it is a way of remembering, assigning very specific sounds and letters to numbers. So you can do things like remembering a list of numbers. Let me see here, like this. So in this book, using the mnemonics, if you look at this one, nail, 2 goes with the N because there's 2 downstrokes and an N, and 5 goes with the L, and I can't remember why. So I haven't looked at this in a really long time, but basically these mnemonics, these words, are set up to correspond to the numbers. So if you need to remember the number, all you have to remember is the word, because words are easier to remember than numbers for our brains. We won't get into that. That's a whole entire system. That is and I am not good at that system. I wasn't good at that system when I studied it. These are my notes on it. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I can't navigate. But yeah, it's not easy. That's not an easy one. But it's a valid one. And that comes out if you're doing something like a deck of cards. You can assign mnemonics to the cards, and this is where it's considered cheating and can get you in really big trouble. It's called card counting. It is where you can determine what card is missing from a deck based on what you've seen in your hand and seen drawn, because you remember what's there. Or you mutilate in your head. You look at a deck of cards and you can like tear up in your brain the cards that have been used and played, and then you know what's left, and that's considered cheating for games like poker and things like that, because you know what's in your opponent's hand based on what has already been used. It's iffy. I wouldn't. You can use it, but I'm not going to teach it. So anyway, those are all the different methods that I have learned about. The one I'm going to talk about next is the link method, and that is literally what it sounds like. You are going, in your head, you create a chain of items to help you remember a list. With this, the same rules apply as for your memory palace, where you need to exaggerate size if you can. So if like I'm doing a shopping list and my object that I need to pick up is a watermelon, like watermelons are already really, really big, so I can either pick, the tiny little watermelon, or I can go like 3 times the size of the biggest watermelon ever picked. Like things like that. You want to exaggerate to make it stand out to you. You need to actionize the item. I don't know where I got that word from, but actionize it. Basically, you're going to give it motion. Make it dance around, make it roll across the floor, things like that. You want the proportion, like anything to mess with your head. So the proportion could be weird. So maybe an absolutely giant glass of milk next to a small, tiny little robin egg type thing. And that would remind me to pick up milks and eggs. Or substitute it, which, let's see, for remembering lists or sequences. Yeah, so substituting it, that's the link part. So what you're going to do is you're taking an item, you're going to make it exaggerated, and you're going to make it do something, and then you're going to substitute that item doing that thing with the next item doing the same thing, and you rotate it. So think of, have you ever played those games where you started with one word, like a 3-letter word, man, and you ended with another word, ape, and you had to make one change for each iteration to get to the end word. That's sort of how this works for linked lists. Is you're taking one thing, you're doing something to it, then you're taking the next thing in the list, making it do the same thing, but you're changing one item of it. So it keeps it locked or linked in your head. To example this, I actually set up something else here. So if we're looking at this, all right, I'm going to create a list here. And we're going to do a list of random, let's do random things, right? I want to take out the images because we don't want the images, right? So we need to remember these things in order. So we have a balloon, a TV, a paper, a mop, a mirror, and shampoo. Let's just pretend that this is a shopping list, okay? I don't know why the webpage is like this. I can't change it, so we'll just leave it like it is. So the first thing we're going to do is we know we have a balloon. Now in my head, for whatever reason, probably because it's pretty typical, I'm using a red balloon. You can pick any color you want. You can make it do whatever you want. So in my head, it's going to expand and it's going to keep growing. And I'm thinking like going from the size of a pea to the size of a weather balloon, which are huge. They're really, really big. And so in my mind, this red balloon is expanding. Now, when it gets to the weather balloon size, it's going to morph into a balloon type TV with little bunny ear antennas, right? So now I have the red balloon, I have a balloon, and it is now in the shape of a TV. And I might see that TV in my head as built out of those party balloons. Like it's morphing into being built out of those party animal style balloons. And it's going to be all multicolored. Now, I'm working on a project with a friend that is doing animation on a robot character. And so I actually see this character's head is what it looks like to me, which is adorable. You could pick whatever TV you think of. That's what I think of. Now, on that TV, so our next thing is paper. Now, I'm going to envision that TV is going to flicker on, right? And when it flickers on, it's going to be the image of a piece of paper. If you think about those movie opening sequences where it starts with a TV and it zooms in on the TV and then that becomes the new scene, that scene transition, hi puppy, that scene transition, that's what I'm thinking with this paper. So the TV flicks on, it shows a piece of paper, and in my head it might have like squiggly lines like it's been written on, but as you zoom in on it, it's kind of blank, all right? So as we're zooming in on it, I'm watching it, and on this paper, you're going to start seeing lines drawn for a mop, just a crudely drawn but obvious cartoon mop drawn on this paper. So we have the red balloon is morphing into a balloon animal type TV. The TV flickers on, and there's a piece of paper, and then we do the movie transition into the TV, and the paper becomes real, and someone now is drawing, or at least appearing, or the lines, and I'm watching it animate, not just appearing, but it's animating, drawing a mop, okay? Now we got to go from a mop to a mirror. So in my brain, I used to clean buildings a lot. So I'm seeing the mop, and I've always wanted, when you've cleaned somebody else's building, you get these fun little fantasies in your head of things you could do if it was yours, like taking the mop up, and instead of mopping the floor, you just go ahead and mop all the walls, you know. So in my head, because that's something I'm familiar with, I would pick up the mop. Now I could pick it up off the page, so that's abstract. I'm picking it up off the page, it's still kind of cartoony, and I can mop it up and see a mirror, right? And so when I pull the mop down, I can see myself. That's a mirror. Now, so I've mopped this mirror, and I might make it a whole wall size, or maybe for me, I've dealt more in my life with the small little, like little picture frame mirrors. So for me, I'm not going to use a giant one. I'm going to use just a steady one because it's kind of a weird stretch to go from a mop to a mirror. So I'm going to keep the little one just to not confuse myself. So I have a little mirror, and I've just kind of run the mop over it real quick. And it's all bright and shiny, and I can see myself. And the next thing is shampoo. So in the mirror, I might actually reflect, if I'm looking at myself in the mirror, I might be standing in a bathroom. And if I'm looking in the mirror, behind me would be the tub, and there would be a shampoo bottle like very obvious shampoo bottle. Or maybe I could feel like my hair's dirty. I don't know if you've ever had your hair get so dirty that your head itches, but that feeling. But it would come, however I do it, I would need to make sure that there is a image of a shampoo bottle, preferably if this is a shopping list, the one that I need to pick up in my head. So I would go, so we've got the big red balloon, little expands to the TV, the balloon style TV. The TV flickers on, it brings up a piece of paper. You transition in on the paper, and animated on it is the mop being drawn. I pick up the mop and I mop the mirror in my head, like I'm mopping the floor, and then I mop the mirror, and I see the mirror, and as I'm looking, I see behind me, or maybe it's jumping around behind me, like, hey, pick me up, you know, a shampoo bottle. So that is the list. I've just effectively built a list in my head of a shopping list. So now I'm going to come off this page for both of us. So hopefully, I know it's hard to do while you're listening because you're also getting what I'm saying in your head, which is not good. So we're going to hopefully, let's see, we're now at about 45 minutes. So I'm going to try and do a quick test here. But I'm going to turn this off. And I'm not looking. I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to actually, if you look, I'm closing. Well, I don't want to close it down because I want it. Just take my word for it. I'm taking my OBS and I am covering up the list so I can't see it now, except for in OBS. And now I am going to actually turn the camera back on me. There. I cannot see this list. You got to take my word for it. I can't prove it, but I cannot see this list. So what we're going to do real quick is I'm going to go back to Narnia. Now my book is closed. It's still right here, completely closed. I'm not looking at it, keeping it closed. Let's see if we can remember Narnia. All right. And actually, I'm going to turn around so you can't see, but I'm not looking. I'm opening it up. I'm going to show you guys the list without looking, and I'm going to go through the list. And that's the page. All right. I'm going to go through the list. I'm not looking at it. And I'm going to see if I get this right so you guys can test me, all right? And I'm hoping I got it right because I'm trying not to look. The order of the books are The Magician's Nephew, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, The Horse and His Boy, Prince Caspian, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, The Silver Chair, and it's the battle. Is it The Last Battle? I think it's The Last Battle. Yeah, see? That's how it works. All right. So I was actually able to go and do something else completely different and remember the list that I have never memorized before. Now, I knew these stories. I never knew the order they were supposed to be in. So that's good. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to try and remember our shopping list. All right. Now that I've changed tracks again, it was a shorter track because I'm going to be honest, I don't really trust my memory of the shopping list because I didn't put a whole lot of thought into it because I was trying to teach it in a hurry, and I'm down to about 12 minutes left for the seminar before I need to turn it off. I promised this would be an hour so people could go back and watch it. So I'm going to quickly do the shopping list. Now, let me see if I can remember. All right. So it's going to be a balloon, a TV, a piece of paper, a mop, a mirror, oh gosh, hold on, and a shampoo bottle. All right, let's see if we got it. Oops, hold on. We have the balloon, the TV, the paper, the mop, the mirror, the shampoo bottle. So that is how that works. All right. Any questions? Did it all make sense? I know I kind of flew through that. There's a lot of things that you can use this for. It's really, really hard. Really hard. All right. So, I mean, it's not really hard. It's really, really beneficial. It's really good. Oh, my dog's passed out in the background. That's hilarious. I didn't even see her. I just happened to swim around and see her in OBS. There she is. Is that my puppy over there? Yeah, it's my puppy over there. Hi. What do you want? Oh, but anyway, so hopefully that was helpful, beneficial. There's a lot that you can do with these memory techniques, and again, I have more. Um, I might do more seminars if you guys like this. Please tell me in comments um, on this video that this was helpful. That I maybe I spoke too fast, or maybe I didn't give enough explanation, or the example wasn't clear enough. Just help me out. This is the first time I've ever taught a seminar. Um, yeah, pros. Yeah. So the reason this came about is when I was researching the Memory Palace technique. Um, I found out that there's actually whole competitions to this, and that was news to me. I did not know that was a thing. There's whole competitions to kids memorizing lists and words, and um, they're timed. And that is this technique, the list technique especially, is how they one of the biggest ways that they do it. Um, I have other techniques in here for again for like remembering people's names. Remembering strings of numbers, which is really hard. Let's say you ever wanted to try to memorize the first 100 or first 1,000 digits in pi, 3.14, whatever. There is a way to do that. And so that's a whole different technique. And I don't have time to get into it tonight, um, but yeah, that's a whole different technique. So hopefully that was clear. Um, so yeah, got about 10 minutes more. I'm open to questions. We can do another list. I could do a practice list. So let's do this. Um, I'm going to give you guys, let's see here. I'm going to keep it at 6. Actually, let's do this. Random word generator. Nope, that's words. You could do stuff like this. This is a really good little tool here, and you just go look up random lists, and it will come up for you. Let's do. We'll keep things, but I'm gonna up the list to 10. Actually, yeah, 10. Nope. I'll keep it at 6. I'll keep it at 6. We're going to rerun this and get different. Oh, and let's turn images off. All right. I'm going to refresh this, rerun it, and I'm going to give you 1 minute to memorize the list, and then I'm going to turn it off. So here we go. All right. Hopefully you can read the list. Let me see if I can. Actually, I'm going to make a new scene here right now. Let's do a full size Firefox, and let's add window capture for Firefox. Let's make it all big. There. Okay. That ought to help. That ought to help you be able to read it. All right, so I'm going to hit this rerun again. And then I'm going to give you, when I hit it, I'm going to give you 1 minute to memorize the items. And then I want you to, if you're in the chat, I want you to type out the list after, like I'll tell you when to type out the list. And we'll see how many you can get right. All right, so here we go. We're going to rerun and go. And I'm going to be quiet. All right. Sorry, I accidentally hit my map. All right, ready? Go ahead, and I've got mine covered up so I can't see it now. I'm typing too. Go ahead and type what the list was. All right, I have my list. I'm going to post it, giving people a time to type out their list if there is going to be anybody. All right, I'm posting mine now. And let's see if that was correct. Ah, Jose, or yeah. All right. All right. Let's see if we got it correct. I'll go big here. All right, so we have sailboat, spoon, desk, iPod, bananas, drill press. Let's see here, sailboat. All right, I see what Jose did. Jose tried to go down the list, it looks like. It was a good try, but I was going by the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4 goes across the top. It was a good try though, Jose. But yeah, it's a little bit of it's definitely a practice technique. It's not something that you're just going to be able to do. I actually got a little confused because I spent so much time setting up OBS and playing with the mic and stuff that I actually forgot to memorize real quick. So I didn't put a lot of time into mine, and I almost mixed up the desk and the iPod. But I got it. So the one thing to know about this is if you use this for something like a shopping list, the one problem with this is it is a chain. And if you have a broken link in the chain, it can screw up the rest of the list. So, and I'm going to put it back on camera. So it's very, very good to know that if you're going to do this, now the more you practice it, the more solid you're going to be able to make it the first try, and the quicker you're going to be able to make it in your head. So again, it's a practice technique. You're not going to be great at it right off. The more you practice it, the quicker you can come up with visualizations and senses in your head, and the better you will get at it. Does order matter? Order only matters in this case. Yes, it does, because you are linking things together by transition. If you skip a transition, going back is incredibly difficult. That's the downside to this particular technique. You need to keep the order, keep the transitions. Remember when I did the balloon, I had the balloon would grow in size until it morphed into a TV, and then that TV flickered on and showed a piece of paper. If I skipped the TV, there would be nothing to get me from balloon to paper. So that's the downfall. However, the better you get at this technique and the more often you do it, the less likely you will be to have a broken link, and the better it is for you. So practice it. Very, very handy for test taking and shopping without a list. If you are a server or a waitress in a food establishment, you can use the same technique for remembering a whole table's orders without writing anything down. And I have learned that will actually can get you a higher tip because you've impressed people if you get it right. Now, if you screw it up and you didn't write it down, that's a risk you take. But if you don't write it down and you get it right and you impress your customers, there's a chance they might tip you higher. So it's showmanship is what it is. These are basically parlor tricks is what I'm teaching at this point. And you can use them for that. It's fun. Speaking of fun, little Miss Comfortable over there. Yeah, I was talking about you. So yeah, order is important. I just joined stream. I'm lost, but I'll start from the beginning. Yeah, you're going to want to start from the beginning because I explained how to do it. And it's only going to be an hour. It's a little over an hour. It's a minute over an hour now. So it's hopefully going to be short. I'm going to get ready to turn it off, and then I'm going to start streaming a game. If you would join the Discord, here, let me put this up in here again. I'm going to have a poll up in just a minute of options for a game. I need choices for a game. So if you join the Discord, I'm trying to keep this interactive, so we'll do that. And definitely go back. This should archive to a video on YouTube so that you can go back and rewatch it. That's why I kind of rushed through this and wanted to keep it at an hour, because I wanted people to be able to go back and watch it without worry. So yeah, if you guys liked this, if it was beneficial, we can do more. I have more techniques for remembering different things we can go over. Again, very handy for school if you're in school, work. I'm actually going to pick it up again to try and start. I had gotten out of practice, and then I remembered it when I was doing the Q&A for the basements video. So yeah, anyway guys, I'm going to turn this stream off. I'm not going anywhere. I do need to eat real fast. I haven't eaten dinner yet, but I am going to be streaming a game next. In the Discord, I'm about to, let's quickly put up my poll here. Actually, I'll put it up in just a moment, but go ahead and join the Discord. I'm going to put the poll up. I will be back in about 15-20 minutes, and then we'll play a game. All right, guys? Thank you for joining me. Hopefully that was helpful. Please leave me any comments on the video. I would like to know how I did. This is the first time I've actually taught something like this, and the first time I've ever taught on a stream. I've taught in person, but never on a stream. So I would really like advice or what you liked, what you didn't like. So if you could just leave me a comment, that would be great. Help me get better. Like, subscribe, all that kind of fun stuff. I told you I would remember it. Also, one more test. I'm going to try this again. The order of the books of the Chronicles of Narnia. And again, I'm going to open this without looking. Hold on. That's page 1, page 2. So that should be, yeah. All right. So I'm going to put this up here so you can see it. I'm not looking. The order of the Chronicles of Narnia is going to be The Magician's Nephew, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, The Horse and His Boy, Prince Caspian, the Voyage of the Dawn Treader, The Silver Chair, and The Last Battle. All right? And I think I got... Yeah, I got those right. All right, and then... So, yeah, so just showing it works. And once you get it in your head, the more you do it, the less likely you are to forget it. So, yeah. I hope you guys... are able to use this. Let me know, especially in the Discord. Let me know if you use it and it's successful, or if you didn't, or if you used it and it didn't work, and I will try and help you figure out why, if it doesn't work. And so yeah. All right, I'm going to go eat. I am coming back. I will see you guys in a few minutes. As soon as I remember how to turn this thing off. All right, and bye.